Japan, a country which has historically relied on the United States of America, is buffing its military partnerships by seeking relations with like-minded countries. On November 3rd, Japan and the Philippines started dialogue to establish military ties that would allow the Japanese self-defense forces easier access to Filipino bases. Not only will Japanese troops have an easier time to deploy in the Philippines, but this new partnership will facilitate future joint drills. Additionally, Japan just pledged to provide a coastal radar system worth around 4 million USD. All of this advancement in military ties are pushed by two important strategies: the Reciprocal Access Agreement and Official Security Assistance. The Reciprocal Access Agreement, or RAA, is a legal framework that makes joint drills or disaster support easier to occur between two countries. This is Japan's new form of partnership that basically allows militaries of partner countries to use their bases when necessary and bolster military cooperation. This is a significant change in Japan's military strategy, as Japan has historically relied on the United States of America. Now, Japan is actively seeking cooperation with like-minded countries. While talks began in the early 2010s during Abe's time, Japan signed the RAA with Australia in 2022 and the United Kingdom earlier this year. Japan's RAA with Australia went into effect on August 13. Japan sent their F-35s to Australia, while Australia sent their F-35s to Japan. In December, Australia would be joining Exercise Yamasakura, a joint JGSDF and US military exercise, as a full participant for the first time. Japan's RAA with the United Kingdom went into effect on October 15th. The JGSDF and the British Army will be conducting a bilateral field training in Japan from November 15th to 26, 2023. In both instances, Japan is exploring non-American exercises and definitely expanding its military cooperations. And now, Japan is planning to establish an RAA with the Philippines. There are talks that Japan will establish an RAA with France as well, but I believe the two countries have not started official negotiations. In addition to the RAA, which facilitates joint military drills, Japan started the Official Security Assistance Program in April 2023. This basically allows Japan to provide aid to like-minded countries to develop their security. This is different from ODAs or Official Development Aids, which is used to support economic and social development. There are 3 points that must be met in order to provide OSA, which includes activities for ensuring peace, stability, and security based on rule of law, humanitarian activities, and international peace cooperation operations. Nothing is supposed to be directly related to international conflicts, which shows that OSA is supposed to be rolled out in the context of Article 9, which is Japan's peace article within its constitution. The first recipient of Japan's OSA is the Philippines, and Japan plans to provide OSA to Malaysia, Bangladesh, and Fiji with a total of 2 billion yen. It is reported that OSAs may increase to 5 billion yen and beyond in the future. This is a clear move against China, and we can read this on Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs website. In the opening paragraph, the government clearly states the dangers of, quote, unilateral attempts to change the status quo by force. The only country that is provoking Southeast Asian countries is China with their ships and aircrafts, so this is Japan's way to curb Chinese influence. One thing I find interesting is the choice of words of like-minded countries. The government couldn't mention fellow democracies, so this has to be a deliberate choice of words. This might allow and encourage Japan to extend such aid to other countries in the name of security within the Indo-Pacific. These two policies and developments are interesting because Japan is slowly assuming the role that the United States does in the Asia-Pacific, the guarantor of freedom. This doesn't mean that America would leave this region, but it does mean that Japan is stepping up to do its part in a changing geopolitical world. All of this goes hand in hand with Japan's plan to increase defense expenditure to 2% from 1% of the GDP. But with that said, there is one crucial question that remains. How long can Japan stay true to the spirit of Article 9 with these new military agreements? All these changes can be categorized as defensive, but that line between defensive and offensive can get blurred if not careful. While there might be a demand to be assertive in the 21st century, that doesn't justify circumventing the law, so politicians will need to continue dialogue on Japan's role in the ever-changing environment. And changing the constitution is definitely on the ruling party's agenda, so we'll see how things play out in the near future. Like the video if you learned something new, and subscribe to learn more about Japanese politics.